Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into what might be the most consequential development in the Sussex saga since they fled the UK. And trust me, this is absolutely explosive. The House of Lords has formally backed a petition to strip Meghan Markle of every royal title, honor, and privilege she still clings to. This isn't tabloid gossip or royal rumor. This is Parliament, the highest legislative body in Britain, making an unprecedented move that could change everything for Harry and Meghan. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, let that sink in for a minute. The House of Lords, the upper chamber of the British Parliament, has put their weight behind stripping Meghan of her titles. This isn't some random Twitter petition or a tabloid campaign. This is as official as it gets, and it signals that the walls are truly closing in on the Sussexes in a way we've never seen before. What's particularly stunning about this development is the rare political unity it's creating. In a parliament that's typically fractured along party lines, reports suggest that members from both sides of the aisle nodded in agreement on this motion. Think about that. In today's polarized political climate, what could possibly unite conservative traditionalists and progressive reformers? Apparently, the shared belief that Meghan's use of her royal titles is inappropriate, self-serving, and damaging to the monarchy's image. The conservatives see it as a matter of tradition and protocol being violated. The progressives see it as an issue of honesty and accountability. You can't publicly tear down an institution while cashing in on it. That kind of unity is rare and incredibly dangerous for Harry and Meghan, because it means there's no political safe haven for them to hide behind. I've been covering the royal beat for years, and I can tell you, this level of formal political intervention is unprecedented in modern royal history. This isn't about tabloid harassment or media bias that the Sussexes can complain about on Netflix. This is the actual government of the United Kingdom saying enough is enough. Let's be honest about what's really happening here. Meghan loves to remind the world that she is the Duchess of Sussex. It's on book covers, event invitations, corporate pitches, and production credits. Yet in reality, she's shown open disdain for the institution that title represents. You cannot be the self-declared voice of modern royalty while refusing to do the work of actual royals. You cannot denounce the archaic nature of the monarchy while selling projects under its banner. The title has become, critics argue, not a duty, but a brand. One that opens Hollywood doors and corporate boardrooms, but rings hollow back home in Britain. It's the ultimate having your cake and eating it too scenario, and Parliament is finally saying, no more. And while Harry might like to think this petition is primarily about Meghan, make no mistake, his own position is now under serious scrutiny as well. His vocal defense of Meghan, even when it meant attacking his own family, has not gone unnoticed. Lawmakers are reportedly discussing whether it's possible to remove or restrict his privileges as well, particularly if they see him as complicit in exploiting the Sussex title for profit. Harry's tragedy is that he has now bound his public identity so tightly to Meghan's that if she goes down in the court of public opinion, and now possibly the court of law, he is dragged down too. Not long ago, Harry and Meghan had swathes of the British public behind them, framing themselves as victims of palace politics and media cruelty. But polls now show a chilling reversal. There's majority support for stripping them of their royal standing altogether. Voters say they resent the couple monetizing their royal connection while using platforms like Netflix to criticize the monarchy. Many also say the couple's service has been non-existent since moving abroad. In short, what was once a honeymoon phase of sympathy has curdled into public impatience, anger, and now formal political action. And if you think the political front is damaging, wait until you see what's happening behind the scenes. Hollywood is quietly reassessing Meghan's value without her royal sheen. Historic precedents show exactly how this could play out, and spoiler alert, it's not in her favor. Here's the reality Meghan doesn't want to face. In Hollywood, titles matter. The Duchess of Sussex isn't just a fancy courtesy, it's a marketable hook that gets her in rooms other actresses, producers, and wannabe philanthropists can't access. Remove that, and the magic disappears. Without her royal title, Meghan's pitches become just another celebrity vanity project. Corporate sponsors have less incentive to attach her name when she no longer carries the aura of modern royalty. Industry insiders whisper that streaming platforms, luxury brands, and even charity gala organizers use her title as a selling point, not her actual content or achievements. Without it, she becomes a much harder sell. The commercial value of Meghan Markle, former actress, is a fraction of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. This wouldn't be the first time the crown has taken the scissors to a royal title. History is littered with examples. Edward VIII, who abdicated for love, lost his position and was downgraded in style and precedence. Prince Andrew, after scandal, was stripped of military titles and public roles in a swift and humiliating move. Royal protocol is clear. If your actions consistently harm the monarchy's image, titles can be revoked. The Sussexes might have thought living abroad shielded them from this fate. But Parliament's involvement changes the game. It sets a modern precedent that distance is no defense against consequences. And it signals that Britain is willing to take extraordinary measures to protect the dignity of the monarchy, even if that means publicly cutting ties with the king's own son. Meghan's habit of leaning into her Sussex identity while simultaneously rejecting the royal system has become meme fuel in Britain. The phrase, "no more, I'm Sussex now," has gone viral, mocking the disconnect between her public posturing and her private decisions. Satirical sketches on UK television openly lampoon her for playing the Duchess card only when it's convenient. Social media influencers have picked it up as shorthand for hypocrisy, someone claiming elite status without doing the work that earned it. This kind of ridicule sticks. Once the public sees you as a parody of yourself, it's almost impossible to restore credibility. The mockery has turned what was once aspirational, a modern American duchess, into something closer to a punchline. And in entertainment, being the butt of the joke is far worse than being controversial. For years, Harry's Invictus Games and veteran advocacy shielded the couple from total public backlash. But even here, cracks are showing. Some UK veterans groups have quietly distanced themselves, citing discomfort with the couple's political commentary and commercial ventures. Charity partners have reportedly been warned by donors to avoid unnecessary controversy, a polite way of saying, "don't bring them in." This erosion of support in their most sympathetic demographic is catastrophic. If veterans who once stood firmly with Harry start withdrawing, it signals a collapse of goodwill across every other sector. The foundation of their post-royal identity, compassionate service, is crumbling beneath them. If Parliament succeeds and titles are stripped, the Sussex chapter of royal history will end not with a triumphant reinvention, but with an ignominious footnote. Two figures who traded their royal standing for Hollywood relevance and lost both. No titles, no ceremonial privileges, no official invitations to royal events. In the eyes of Britain, they'd go from modern royals to former royals, a category reserved for those who fell from grace. And perhaps most telling, the monarchy would move on without them in an instant. No PR rehabilitation tour, no olive branch from the palace, just silence. The institution has survived for over 1,000 years, precisely because it knows when to cut its losses. But here's the question no one's answering yet. If Meghan and Harry lose the Sussex titles, what happens to the Sussex brand? Do Netflix, Spotify, and their other partners stick around? Or do they quietly walk away, just like the veterans groups and palace? The contracts were signed with a duke and duchess, not private citizens. Will these deals hold if the royal glitter fades? Insiders suggest that many of their commercial agreements have clauses that specifically reference their royal status. If that status changes, the terms could be renegotiated or even terminated. For a couple who've built their entire American identity around being royal rebels, losing the royal part of that equation leaves them with what exactly? Without titles, they become former working royals who criticize the monarchy. Not exactly a unique position in British society, and certainly not one that commands million-dollar deals. The commercial empire they've been building could collapse overnight if Parliament follows through. This is why the stakes are so astronomically high. This isn't just about ceremonial honors or where they sit at formal events. This is about the very foundation of their post-royal careers and financial security. Every Netflix documentary, every Spotify podcast, every corporate partnership has been built on the Sussex brand. Take that away, and the entire house of cards could come tumbling down. Some royal watchers suggest that Harry and Meghan have been preparing for this possibility, quietly setting up alternative income streams and identities that don't rely on royal connections. But the timing of this parliamentary action suggests they haven't moved quickly enough. The titles that were supposed to be their golden ticket may instead become their greatest vulnerability. The irony is almost Shakespearean. In trying to escape what they saw as the constraints of royal life, they clung to the most valuable aspect of it, their titles. Now those very titles have become the focal point of their potential downfall. Had they walked away completely, titles and all, they might have found more authentic success on their own terms. Instead, they tried to have it both ways, and now they may end up with nothing. So where do we go from here? Parliament doesn't move quickly on these matters, but when it does, it's typically decisive. The formal stripping of titles would require legislative action and royal assent, meaning King Charles would ultimately have to sign off on it. Would he take such a drastic step against his own son? A year ago, I would have said no. But the continued Sussex attacks on the institution he's spent his life preparing to lead may have hardened his resolve. What's clear is that this isn't just another round of royal drama. This is a potential point of no return. If Parliament follows through, there's no coming back from it. No apology tour, no Netflix special explaining their side, no Oprah interview can undo a formal act of Parliament. The Sussex story would effectively end, not with the bang they might have hoped for, but with the whimper of parliamentary procedure. So what do you think? Has it come to this? Should Meghan still be the Duchess of Sussex while she cashes in on Netflix deals and lifestyle brands? Should Harry keep his position if he's backed every single public jab at the royal family? And if the titles are gone, what should happen next? Drop your verdict in the comments. #keep the titles if you think stripping them is a step too far, or no more Sussex if you think it's time Britain shuts that chapter for good. And don't forget to like this video, share it everywhere, and hit that notification bell because part 2 is coming up, where we'll dive into exactly what happens if the Sussex titles vanish. The contracts, the branding, the legal fights, and the insiders already whispering about a desperate final play Meghan and Harry could be planning to keep themselves relevant. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. This is your friendly neighborhood critic signing off. Until next time. Ta-da, and bye for now.